own daughter like this?
Shut up. You're saying I was a bad mother? I think we're becoming friends. Have a taffy, dear.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 horror film Please Don't Feed the Children. The film is directed by Destry Alan Spielberg and it stars Michelle Doherty. We've got Zoe Colletti, Andrew Liner, Dean Scott Vasquez and Reagan Alaya. Now the film follows a group of orphan children, and it is after a viral outbreak has decimated most of the adult population of not only the nation but the world, I think. And this is a different outbreak, a viral outbreak, in a sense of the children are being blamed for being like the carriers of this virus. So therefore children are being treated very badly. Children are being kind of, segregated, locked up, all this kind of stuff. So kids are kind of basically having to fend for themselves in these times. So we've got these gang of orphans. They are heading out to an area where they think they're going to be safe. Along the way, they get into a scrape at a gas station, a gunfight. One of them gets injured, the car breaks down, and they have no choice really but to kind of approach like this house, secluded house in the middle of nowhere, hoping to ask for help. When they knock on the door, Michelle Doherty's character Clara answers. She seems like a helpful lady. She agrees to let them in and help. She has got nursing background, so she can help treat one of them that has been injured. She feeds them, and then she drugs them, and they end up all collapsing on the floor. She basically keeps them prisoner for reasons that become clear as you watch the film. She is not the nicest person that she presents. One of them, Zoe Colletti's character Mary, she kind of adopts as her own daughter, thinking that she's got a connection with her, and she has to kind of work in the shadows trying to help her friends. Right, what are my thoughts on Please Don't Feed the Children? Well, this has an interesting idea. Even if it's playing with things that we've seen many times before, tropes that we've seen many times before, virus, almost like a post-apocalyptic future, viral outbreak that essentially, even though it doesn't make it clear until very late in the film, essentially it's like a zombie apocalypse really in a lot of ways. It's just the viral outbreak. It seems that the children are the carriers of it. So it's playing with themes and tropes that we've become familiar with, but it's if you like, trying to do something a little bit different with it in regards to the children angle. And then the idea, if you like, is sound, as I've mentioned, but the execution here is a little lackluster, I think, to say the least. It's got very slow pace that I think will not be popular with a lot of people. I think it harms the film. Sometimes slow paces I don't mind. I like the character development that we're getting. I'm interested in the characters. I'm interested in, the scenarios that they're in, etc. And I'm invested, so I don't really mind. This one, the slow pace makes the film suffer a little bit, I think. So it definitely kind of hinders it. You've got some strong performances here, especially by Michelle Doherty, Doherty, that you may recognise from Downton Abbey. She plays this unhinged character, Clara, the woman of the household, who seems like a saint, but is very much not. She, is capturing these children for nefarious reasons. And when those reasons become clear as to what she's doing with these children, it becomes quite, I don't know, really. It's quite upsetting, if you like, when you're actually realising what these children are for. And it's quite clear that she has lost her sanity, this lady. But the film, if you like, just becomes a little bit of a cat and mouse game. These kids are locked up, what they're going to do, how they're going to get out, and Zoe Colletti's character, Mary, okay, how is she going to help them when she's kind of being constantly observed by this Clara character? So there's things going for this film, and there's other things that kind of hold it back. I think the last act of the film is done very, very well, and it definitely leaves you with a stronger feeling on the film because of the strength of the ending. But it also makes you think, like, why couldn't the rest of the film been a little bit like that? You know what I mean? Because it's quite manic and brutal and quite emotional, the end of the film. And I just feel like the rest of the film is all build up and set up for the final act. And that can work sometimes for films if they deliver compelling characters and, compelling situations and so on and so forth. And they don't really. It just feels like, once you get past the first half hour of the film, it just feels like they're kind of going over old ground until they get to the final act, sort of thing. And interestingly as well, this is, I don't know if it's a debut actually, because I didn't check, but this is directed by Destry Allen Spielberg, and yes, that is the daughter of Steven Spielberg. So she's clearly wanting to get into the film industry as well. And this, it is a decent attempt. There is some talent here, I think the structure of the film and the lack of compelling characters kind of holds it back a little bit. But there's enough here, I think, to kind of keep the interest up. There are some good moments in the film. The mystery of, why these kids are being kind of held by this woman and what the reason for that is worth the wait, I suppose. But ultimately, it's not one that you're going to be massively remembering afterwards. It's not one of these that you're kind of going to be clambering to tell everybody about. So that's my thoughts on Please Don't Feed the Children. Let me know your thoughts if you've seen the film, and I'll be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.